What happens when one of Russia's most advanced cruise missiles isn't just fast and stealthy, but starts raining explosives across an entire airbase? This isn't just another missile strike. This is about Russia rewriting its playbook, using a precision-guided cruise missile to deliver widespread destruction. How does this weapon work? Why is Ukraine's air defense struggling to stop it? The answer may reveal the future of modern combat. Stay tuned. On July 12, 2025, the skies over Chernivtsi, near Ukraine's border with NATO territory, were torn apart by a weapon unlike most seen before in this war. A Russian Kh-101 cruise missile armed with a cluster warhead rained destruction across a wide area, sending shockwaves not only through Ukrainian defense lines, but also across Europe. The strike marked more than just another missile attack. It showcased how Russia is evolving its long-range precision weapons into tools of mass area denial. To understand the true impact of this attack, we need to look closer at the Kh-101's new cluster warhead variant, how it works, why its use raises humanitarian concerns, and how Ukraine is struggling to defend itself against such an advanced threat. The Kh-101 has been in service since the early 2010s, but until recently, it was primarily designed for precision strikes. Developed by the Raduga Design Bureau, this long-range air-launched cruise missile was built to target key military infrastructure deep behind enemy lines. Initially, the missile carried a high explosive or penetrating warhead weighing around 400 to 450 kilograms. That was deadly enough against fixed bunkers, warehouses, and command centers. But as Ukraine adapted its tactics, dispersing air defense systems and military assets across wide areas, Russia needed something more. The answer was to take the Kh-101's precision and combine it with area saturation capabilities. By mid-2024, reports began circulating about a new cluster warhead variant, one that would change how this missile is used on the battlefield. Cluster munitions operate by releasing bomblets above the target area at a calculated altitude. As the warhead casing opens, dozens of submunitions scatter outward, each armed with its own explosive charge. These bomblets detonate either on impact or after a time delay, creating overlapping fragmentation zones that can shred soft targets like vehicles, radar dishes, and fuel trucks. The July 12th strike on Chernivtsi perfectly demonstrated this effect. Videos released by Russian sources show multiple explosions rippling across the strike zone, with fires breaking out in what appeared to be a logistics facility. Unlike a single high-explosive detonation, which leaves one crater, the cluster warhead caused scattered impact points, making it almost impossible to protect every asset in the area. Tactically, this is a game-changer. Ukraine's Patriot and NASAM systems are designed to defend critical points, but they cannot shield every mobile radar or command truck spread across an airbase. A single cluster-armed Kh-101 can neutralize several key components of an air defense site in one blow, forcing Ukraine to relocate its systems constantly or risk losing them. This trade-off may slightly reduce the missile's maximum range, but the payoff is clear. One missile can now damage or destroy multiple assets in a single strike, making it a deadly tool for suppressing air defense networks. But with this new capability comes an old controversy. Cluster munitions are among the most criticized weapons in modern warfare, primarily because of their indiscriminate nature and the lingering danger of unexploded bomblets. These submunitions often fail to detonate on impact, effectively turning into hidden landmines that can kill or injure civilians long after the fighting has moved on. The 2008 Convention on Cluster Munitions bans the use, production, and stockpiling of these weapons. More than 100 countries have signed it, citing the unacceptable humanitarian risks they pose. Russia, however, is not a party to this treaty. nor are the United States or Ukraine. Legally, Moscow faces no binding international restrictions, but under international humanitarian law, all warring parties are still required to minimize civilian harm and avoid indiscriminate attacks. The natural question after the Chernivtsi strike is, where was Ukraine's air defense? Ukraine's air defense system has been under relentless pressure since the start of the full-scale invasion in 2022. Western aid has significantly strengthened Ukraine's defenses. The United States and NATO allies have supplied advanced systems, including Patriot missile batteries and NASAMS. Patriots, in particular, have proven highly effective, even intercepting Russian hypersonic missiles like the Kinzhal. But their numbers are limited. Ukraine currently operates only a handful of Patriot batteries, and these are primarily deployed to protect major cities and critical infrastructure, not every rear logistics hub. Russia has exploited this limitation by refining its strike tactics. It now frequently launches decoy missiles and drone swarms ahead of real strikes, forcing Ukraine to waste expensive interceptors on less threatening targets. By the time the real Kh-101 missiles arrive, interceptor stockpiles may be depleted or radar operators overwhelmed. Even if interceptors are available, the Kh-101's stealthy, low-altitude flight path makes it extremely difficult to shoot down. The introduction of the cluster warhead makes defending against it even harder. Even if only one missile slips through, it can still disable an entire air defense site or destroy multiple vehicles. Ukraine's strategy has shifted to relocating its air defense components constantly to avoid detection, but this constant movement strains crews and slows down response times. U.S. officials have repeatedly acknowledged the growing challenge. Washington has pledged more air defense supplies, and discussions are ongoing about delivering additional Patriot systems. But Western analysts warn that Ukraine will need not just more long-range systems, but also mobile, short-range defenses, capable of engaging cruise missiles earlier in their flight path. With more advanced missiles entering the battlefield, the question now is whether Ukraine and its allies can adapt quickly enough. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.